College is supposed to be a marketplace of ideas where discourse and dialogue and disagreement is allowed to happen, when in reality it's really just become a leftist echo chamber, but we're changing that.
I think
that was Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. According to the Daily Herald, Kirk created the conservative group in 2012 when he was just 18. The reason he creates Turning Point USA is because he believes liberal bias pervades universities and young people need to be educated on conservative viewpoints.
He likes beer. Guys.
And he's not alone in his quest.
Brett Kavanaugh likes beer, all right?
Through field representatives who travel to different colleges and conservative students eager to strike a partnership with them, Turning Point USA has seen some success in establishing a presence on college campuses. Their most recent stop?
I've been to a lot of different campuses.
San Jose State. I'm Vicente Vera, and this is Spartan Life. Austin Erickson said he considers himself a conservatarian, a cross between conservative and libertarian. Why? Because he really believes in small government. But how did this Oregon native end up overseeing the establishment of a Turning Point USA chapter at San Jose State? Let's ask him. All right, you want to go ahead and start with telling me your name?
Oh, Austin Erickson.
Austin Erickson. What do you do?
I'm a field representative for Turning Point USA in the Bay Area.
And how'd you end up in the Bay Area? You from here?
I'm not. I actually recently moved down here from Oregon, near the Portland area. Actually met my girlfriend in college, and I couldn't convince her to stay up in Oregon, so she has a business and family down here. So I moved down here, actually Livermore, just to be closer to her. So
nice.
Yeah, that's how I ended up down here. And as I was looking to move down here, I saw an opportunity to work for Turning Point USA, and so able to get the position, and yeah, absolutely loving it.
Were you always interested in conservative politics?
You know, it was probably senior year of high school. It was when I started to look into politics and try to figure out where I landed, because like my family was conservative, but I didn't know why. It was when I started having professors and teachers kind of like challenge me. I would say I'm conservative, and then I'd say why, and then I wouldn't know what to say, you know. And so I just started doing a lot of reading, listening to like videos, kind of seeing both sides of the arguments, and then decided I was conservative. I like to nowadays consider myself a conservatarian, because I definitely conservatarian. So kind of definitely conservative, but there's some libertarian aspects that I feel that are really important. So
that's the first time I've heard that statement.
Yeah.
When you said it, conservatarian, I'm like, don't you mean like libertarian, right?
No, conservatarian. Yeah, exactly.
What's conservatarian?
Honestly, I just think libertarians have a better view of smaller government, and they're more committed to smaller government. Conservatives, they want limited government, but especially when it comes to the Republican Party and conservatives that are in power right now, they just haven't done a good job of shrinking government. So I think libertarians do a better aspect of that. And libertarians are basically getting the government out of people's lives. And conservatives are like that, but there are some issues where if they agree with it, though, they don't mind the government still being involved in your life. So that's partially where I land when I consider myself a conservatarian.
Conservatarian.
Yeah.
When an organization like Turning Point USA comes on campus, like there's a lot of mixed reactions.
Yeah, there is, and honestly, I think it's good. But I think the mixed reactions are usually because there's not a representation of conservative libertarian values on college campuses. So people freak out when they see ideas that they don't agree with.
Are you ready for backlash?
Oh yeah, like honestly, I'm not too worried about it. Like we're gonna do our thing. Our mission is to create a space where people can talk about ideas freely, to give conservatives and libertarians a club on campus that they feel like their values can be represented. Yeah. So we're not going anywhere, and if backlash comes, like it is what it is, and we'll stay the course. So.
The group is called Turning Point USA. It's part of a national political organization that promotes free markets and limited government, but it also keeps track of professors who they believe promote liberal ideologies, called the Professor Watch List.
As the Turning Point USA chapter was set to become a recognized student organization, the club's initial advisor turned away from the group at the last minute. The political science professor told the Spartan Daily that he had no comment.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the professor that was originally going to be your advisor, but then he kind of pulled out? And you don't have to mention him by name.
Honestly, I think Ken would be better in speaking into that.
Political science junior Ken Del Valle is the president of the SJSU Turning Point USA chapter.
He pointed out certain things from the web that he didn't agree with. He says that like the organization targets like professors or something, and it's a list of professors who have either been actually like found like guilty of certain crimes, or like slandering in class students that were like conservative or even not conservative.
He felt that was an attack on professors.
Yeah, and I think I understand why. Now, to his point, I will say that some of the people that are up in that list, and it's a long list. I did my, because I'm like, okay, I can't just look at some and then say this is all there is. So I looked at some, and I did feel that some of the people there didn't necessarily belong. Like, it was no point. It was more like they spoke their mind on Twitter, and maybe still at school they do it, but what they're showing in the page is not enough. So it's a lot of what ifs. Realistically, other than the fact that it's right-wing based, it's not that different from something like Rate My Professor in that sense.
Rate My Professor, I can guarantee, is way more brutal.
Yeah, and actually, and they are. Like, this whole thing goes a little bit beyond Turning Point. Like, I'm gonna be frank, as I listen to all these conservative and the intellectual dark web, if you will, like Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin, or like Jordan Peterson or Candace Owens, I never agree with anyone 100%. I sure don't agree 100% with everything Charlie Kirk says, the head of the Turning Point. But I feel like I appreciate, at the very least, the fact that I know where he comes from in those points that I don't agree with.
Yeah. Do you find yourself having discussions with the professor?
Oh yeah.
You're the devil's advocate?
Yeah, a lot of times. And if anything, if I feel like I shouldn't put, like, you got to pick your battles. My notebook is half the notes from class and half the notes that I'm like, he made this comment, he made that comment, and then I'll look into that.
You want to talk about perjury? We have evidence that Dr. Ford perjured herself. Do you believe she should go to prison? Want me to give you the evidence?
100% should be in prison.
She said that she never coached anyone.
One thing that maybe I don't agree with some conservatives is I don't care to demonize anyone. I feel like that's where I stand with those things. I don't care to demonize necessarily professors. I understand the nature of universities and all that, but some of them could be a little more careful when it comes to how they put information out. And like, this goes to like you being a journalist. People talk a lot about bias, right? But bias goes beyond an article being left or right wing. Like, if I look at an article of like the New York Times, it could be left biased, and it could also be right. But we have to understand how these things work and how they affect us as readers. Like, I'm trying to bring more conservative speakers here, for example. I feel like that's not out there right now. Like, a lot of people talk to me, or the professors even, and then they'll just assume I'm a liberal because I'm Latino. Like, they'll make comments that allude to like Latino and Democrats, and that's I don't know if I want to say that's messed up, but that's definitely something to think about.
I feel like you're being profiled
a little bit, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm triggered. Like, I don't really care about that, but I feel like it's a naive perspective.
You don't want people to assume that you're liberal just because you're Latino,
or anyone for that matter. And our board is made of people who are different races and different sexual orientations, and that's just how it is.
Though still not recognized by the university, Erickson and Del Valle plan to continue lobbying for recognition. But until then, they will hold meetings every week and keep on recruiting conservatives and libertarians interested in Turning Point USA.
So we'll be officially recognized next semester, and through this semester we're just partnering with other student orgs that are recognized, and still doing our thing the best of our abilities right now.
For Spartan Life, this is Vicente Vera, signing off.